Hey, Good News family. This is Tonna Heineman, the host of our Now What podcast. This is where we unpack Sunday's message and we talk about how to practically apply it to our everyday lives. I love that you're here with us, and I love that we get the opportunity to spend more time with our pastors and have them teach us even more what the Word has to say about our everyday lives. We learn from Jesus that one of the best ways to grow is in community together. So join us as we unpack Sunday's message.
Hi, thanks for coming to or watching the podcast today. Podcast stuff. I'll just, hi, Tonna. How are you? It was good to hear you speak on Sunday.
Thanks. It was really fun. I enjoyed the message that I shared with you guys.
Good. Yeah.
Ruth is one of my favorite books of the Bible. Actually, I'd say out of the 66, it's probably one of my top 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I find it to be a little mid.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Then you obviously don't understand it, the depth of the story.
Oh, that's possible. Reading's overrated. I learned that from the Reading Rainbow. Pretty sure that's the message they were trying to get across. Yeah.
I can't. Butterflies in the sky. Do you remember it?
I do. Yeah. I did a...
Everybody our age watched that every day after we got home from school, right? I think so.
I don't know. No.
I don't know.
I never watched it.
You didn't watch it?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-mm.
We watched it.
Are you older than me?
Probably.
My chair's all weird.
I'm older than everybody. Okay, wow. Excuse us. Are you good? Do you want that pillow like I just made fun of that pillow? Are you good?
No.
Okay.
I'm a little too thick for a pillow. Then I don't fit on the seat.
Listen, these chairs are the worst.
Mm-hmm.
We've had them now for, almost a couple years, I think. And we can't seem to figure out a better option, but they're miserable. If you ever think we look uncomfortable, we are.
We could change the whole thing. Like,
we
sit
could.
over there.
We could. And we can sit downstairs in that other studio too.
But the table's not frozen. This thing is ice.
It's freezing cold today.
We should get ice cream and spread it out.
And like Cold Stone and and have the mix-ins.
Yep.
We're pros.
Josh, get us some mix-ins.
I love it. Okay. Hi, Good News family. If you're wondering, we just decided we're just rolling. Roll tape.
Roll.
Is that what they say?
Roll
I don't know.
tide.
Roll tide.
Yeah.
I know, but I meant old school when they would record a movie or I don't know, something.
Action.
What if we were in a
They
movie?
click the
Yeah.
little board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Josh did the clap at first, you guys don't ever get to see that. It was a pansy clap today for sure.
Yeah.
It was weak, but what if we did a movie one week? I mean, theoretically,
Like
I
just
guess
show
we're
a movie
kind of
or we
doing.
do a movie.
Well, maybe we should just show one. Guys, we decided the podcast this week is terrible, so we're just gonna.
We're gonna show Rudy.
Oh,
and
that's
then
a
you
good
can,
show.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll make you laugh and then cry. And,
Perfect.
yeah. Be glad you didn't grow up in Pennsylvania or wherever he's from.
I don't remember
Indiana.
all the storyline.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let me get you serious for a second. Thank you for your service. Today's Veterans Day.
Yeah.
And I know you don't like talking about it, but I always think it's like a super huge deal because I ain't doing it. I'm just living the benefits of it. So you guys who've lived it, done it, whatever, you act like it's no big deal. It's really a big deal. Don't you think? That you served for us?
Well, it's the wording.
What would you rather us say? Really honest. I want to learn.
I don't know. I've never really thought about it.
Dude, you're the coolest. You used to jump out of planes. Thank you.
No, I appreciate. All right. So people came back from Vietnam to protests and just
Awful.
terrible treatment. We're beneficiaries of a much better response. So realizing how wrong that was and a much better response. I don't want to, and so I'm being super serious. I don't want to disrespect or act like I am not aware. That would be equally wrong. So I don't have anything better. It's just sometimes a little awkward. Oh, thank you for your service. Because what do you say?
You either say you're welcome or you can say thank you for acknowledging.
Both are weird.
Why?
They just are. Thank you. I really, really do appreciate the sentiment. I just have never figured out how to respond. So it's something close to thank you, you're welcome or something. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's probably, oh yeah. And then try to move it on because,
Because
if you want stories, then let's talk stories. That's kind of fun, but or can be. It depends. Yeah, even then, most of the stories people don't relate to, or they look at you like, I don't know what to say now, and you're like, I wasn't trying to impress you, just
telling you a story.
That's it. Yeah, and like, wow, you did that. I'm like, no, I'm not. I mean this genuinely. I had a job to do, and we did a job, and I went in to get money for college, and I got money for college, and the other thing I want to do is fall out of airplanes. I thought it was jumping, but it's way more falling. You just, you're carrying so much weight that you can't really jump.
Wow.
And so have a bunch of stories, have some cool injuries, and learn things that aren't applicable to anywhere else, and learn things that are applicable everywhere. So
I don't know. It's a big deal. I can't fathom it, and I'll never understand it, but I don't want to be guilty of taking it for granted either.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, at least I didn't come and say Happy Veterans Day. I think like that's the lamest thing I could say, because I don't know if you're like, I don't know. We just haven't treated veterans well. Yeah. So to say like Happy Veterans Day, like hope you're happy, hope you slept well last night, hope, all the things.
I think historically maybe not, but I think right now anything could always be better.
Sure.
But I feel particularly taken care of as a vet. Yeah. So I paid attention to as much as I wanted to. And so even my slight pushback is from privilege of being taken care of, where I'm like, no, okay, we're good. I got it. But it had challenges. I truly, truly respect my wife through that. So before the internet, when it was basically watching the news every night to see if she would hear anything about our unit, which she wouldn't have. But anyway, is my husband still alive? Are they still there? So, and what's going on? And no way of getting information. Yep. So while we were over there, I don't know if I told you this, but part of the way among the ways we were paid was if we didn't live on post where we could eat it at the, I'll call it meal hall, chow hall, mess hall, then they would give us money so that we could buy our own food. And whenever we left, and our take home each month was around a little under $1,000 for a month.
Oh my gosh.
And this was 1990, but still, that's almost nothing.
Yes. Yes.
And, we had just had twins.
Oh my gosh.
I left 2 weeks after they were born.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. 2
weeks after they were born?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, we were alerted 2 weeks after they were born. I hadn't even come back they gave me 2 weeks to help us transition into having kids.
Yes.
And 2 weeks later, we were alerted. I think a week later, we actually flew out.
Oh my goodness.
And we're 19.
Oh my
No, I'm 19. No. We're 19. It doesn't matter what it is. We're really
Your babies. We're having babies.
Absolutely.
And going away to serve.
And we go away, and they actually take the food allowance. So it's basically they can pay rent and gas, but they have no money for food. Or my wife and other wives have no money.
What?
None. Yeah.
So what happens? Like what?
Angie was very, very detailed in budgeting. And so it was a lot of ramen and hot dogs for her. She had a friend who did less well with budgeting. And sometimes she and her 2-year-old daughter would just eat slices of cheese or maybe a can of peas or something like that, whatever they could find. And so,
our military families.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
So, fortunately, the chain of command really works, even because colonels and generals' wives realize that, where they go, oh, and they kind of lost their minds and got that fixed. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That is so
they did what was technically correct, which is we're getting money because we, as the soldiers, need to eat off post. but now we're being fed. So they took that money. That's technically the right thing to do, but it didn't take into account the effect on the family.
Family. Yeah.
So
A bunch of
especially
men
when
had to be running that decision. That's what it was.
always. Yeah.
They didn't realize that there was families involved in that decision.
I think the
Just
bigger
kidding,
things, it doesn't matter what the corporation is, what the size, the bigger you get, the more it can be lost in numbers and stuff. So,
yeah.
And that's tough. I mean, how do you have humanity within numbers? And it's very, very difficult.
Okay, I got to lighten the mood.
Yeah. Oh, I'm good. I don't know about you.
Like,
I lived it, so we're
I
good.
know, I'm like-
Angie lived it, so she's a hero.
I want to go give Angie a hug and tell her how proud I am of her.
Oh, do it.
And wow. And
Yeah. She's
okay,
amazing.
holy smokes. Well, back to my original comment. Thank you to you and thank you to Angie for your years of service and raising this family while he's gone and all the things. And I hope you never have to eat another hot dog or ramen noodle again, ever.
She didn't for a long time.
I bet. Okay. Well, thinking of food, it's like basically going to be Thanksgiving here in a blink.
Yeah.
So do you like, do you like the holiday Thanksgiving? Like my daughter, Thanksgiving's her favorite.
Oh, nice.
Where does it rank? What's your favorite holiday? Do you have one? I don't know if
I don't think I do. We have certain plans that we do really the same thing on each holiday.
Okay.
So turkey on Thanksgiving.
Smoked or oven or fried?
The last few years I've done all. I haven't purchased, but I've done all those. And smoking's really, really easy. And it also leaves open the oven.
Yep.
We only have one oven, so
It's become our favorite way to do it too.
yeah, and the flavor is good. You have to brine it a day before, so set it out a week before so that it thaws and things like that. So, and we only do, none of us really like dark meat, so we just do 2 turkey breasts. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
still on bone. So you get all the flavor and everything. But, we just like white meat, and it, as long as you brine it. Some people are like, oh, I don't like it because it's too dry. That means you overcooked it. So don't overcook it.
Yeah.
So it's.
And
I get a
how
little
important the
snobby.
brining is.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. Same with pork.
Okay, so you said you have a habit. So Thanksgiving you do that.
Yep.
Christmas, do you do what?
Christmas, it's some sort of beef. It's either prime rib or last year we did tenderloin. So filet mignon.
Yum.
As a roast. So the whole thing. So
In the oven or smoked?
that one,
Or your fancy sous vide thing you do? Can you
I
do that?
didn't do sous vide. That would be a real option. That's a really good option. This year, if I do the tenderloin, I think I may cut it into steak. I haven't totally decided.
Okay.
I wanted a little more flavor out of it, and didn't quite hit for me. So
Are you the cook at home?
Yeah.
Okay. Always have been? Well, when you're...
For as much as relevant, yeah. So back in Utah is when I started doing it. So
I love it.
yeah.
Yeah, Nate is definitely the meat cooker. So he's just good at it, and he's very particular about things he likes and tastes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, well, then do your thing. So
I just did a brisket over on Saturday.
Yum.
So
It's been a little while. We probably need to get a brisket on the menu for the week for sure.
That's a commitment.
What's your most favorite side dish?
I make mushroom risotto, which is probably my favorite right now. Our mashed potatoes are really good.
Do you like spruce
they're
them
not
up?
hard. Garlic parmesan
Okay.
is relatively easy. So been doing that for a long time. I make really good mac and cheese.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yum.
like really good. So
Why don't you ever make one and share that with the office? Come on. We need to have some kind of potluck thing or something where everybody brings something that they make well.
I haven't consistently cooked in probably 2 years. I mean, I cook randomly, but not consistently. So Angie's job has just been that she hasn't been home that much. And so why cook a bunch of stuff? Yeah. And so over the last month, I've been sort of cooking again. It's kind of fun.
That's good.
So, yeah.
When you do like Thanksgiving for like the holiday or whatever, does Angie get involved or do you want to cook the whole thing or?
She has gotten involved the last couple holidays, which has been really great.
That's
and very helpful. And so the first one that she got more involved, I adapt. I kind of, yeah. I like thinking I'm laid back, and I'm so not.
That is a correct assessment.
Oh my gosh. I am self-aware rigid. And then I'm like, oh, other people exist. I should try to engage them. And so people may think that I'm, I don't know what, I think I'm capable of recognizing it. And so to some degree being charming within that, but get on task and I have a hard time.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And so
that's when I get in that mode, that's when you just suddenly notice that Nate just migrates out of the room and maybe we'll go find a football game or something. And then, just let her do her thing because she's in that mode. I don't try to be all the time, but
very nicely happens. At Surveys last week, again, Angie, we're going into the auditorium sanctuary and she goes very nicely and genuine. Do you need to let them know that you need to go home? I'm like, no, but it was just, I was overstimulated. And so there
was a lot and it was very stressful in our dinner auditorium because our technology was not working and it was incredibly stressful. So it just kind of stole joy for many of us. Ooh. Yeah, because I even snapped at Sarah in the mic right at the end. I actually didn't snap at Sarah. I snapped at all of our guests because they were talking over one of my best friends. And I'm like, hey. And I literally woke up haunted by it the next morning and texted Sarah. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. It just it was just a little stressful down there.
Absolutely. But and we exist in the same world then.
Yes. Is that what you were feeling?
Oh, it was in the meeting yesterday where I'm like, listen, I just did that twice. I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to. End of the day, I overstated something to Pastor Raphael. Texted him like feel like I'm trying to date this guy. I'm like, why is he not responding? Kind of thing. But I'm like, I'm so sorry for the way I expressed that. That was not. He's like, I'm cool. Just be aware.
I have to do that on the regular.
Yep.
I do it. Okay, let's transition to Ruth because one thing that I don't know, it just surprised me was when you said how much you love the Book of Ruth.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking of just all that you love to study and the academia that you love and all of it. I'm like, really? It's a 4-chapter book. There's 66 to choose from. And you said Ruth, Ecclesiastes, and Job. And I'm wondering like why? Like, how did you land? Why are those your favorites? Why does Ruth mean so much? Like, what are the criteria? I don't know. I just found myself asking those questions.
So we'll go Ecclesiastes because it was one of the first things. And when I was first reading the Bible all the way through, it just struck me as true.
Like really, like raw, like honest?
Yeah. My life had been weird up to that point, to be nice about it. And so within a realm of accepting that God is, genuinely real. Like I utterly believe in God, trust Jesus and everything else. But at the same time to go, oh, but I think everything else is meaningless. How to navigate that, to come to the end of Ecclesiastes and him go, all right, here's the end of it. Fear God, obey his commandments. That's really all you can do. And I go, yes, that's it. And so it just resounded at a deep level for me. And so still love it. I think it's brilliant. And so basically all the wisdom books and how they kind of, you can kind of see them interact and stuff. So if you've got Proverbs saying, here's what if you do this, things are going to work out. A way I've heard it talked about is do good, get good. Okay. Ecclesiastes shows up and says, that ain't true. I've seen the rich be terrible and still stay rich, and those who are really good be poor and die. So yeah, Proverbs crud. And then you've got Job show up and you're like, okay, this is going to work out. Job is a really good guy, and that's why he's prospering. And that's the initial conversation, and even between the Satan or Satan and God. And that's the conflict: is where's justice lie? Who gets to decide what justice is? And it then to hit the end where God's having this conversation with Job, it's just brilliant. And so it's it's so much to process and try to, so it's difficult, but to see that interaction to me is just a huge lesson about so many things. And so, and then as far as Ruth goes, it's, I would say a relatively within the last few years has jumped up my, and the reason is because it's so simple, and can be deep. You can dive really into it and get some incredible stuff. So as somebody who likes teaching how to do the Bible, that if my goal is to help people do better Bible, Ruth is such an easy thing to be able to hand you and say, okay, now we're going to walk through these steps using a story that is easy for you to understand. You can see a beginning, you can see an end. We're talking about decent people through the thing. It's a very, very safe read, with really cool takeaways, even, and then if you dive deeper, it places it within the overall, what we call meta-narrative, big story of the Bible, and it just fits every single thing. So it's a ton of fun, for me anyway. And so to be able to talk about context without it being boring and giving somebody, no, here's why this really, really matters.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and a sermon talked about 4 different options that a widow has back then. And I think it helped rather than just be a boring thing. I'm hoping it helped.
Because we read things like that and we're like, okay, yep, they all lost their husbands. Sounds probably pretty accurate for that time period. People died, and then move on.
Yeah.
No. You need to really think about and understand the culture of that time and what that would mean for those women who are left behind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a big deal.
It's a question of genuine survival. Will they live or not?
Yes.
It's not, will they be able to keep their car or not?
Right.
Which is a very relevant question for our day. I'm not diminishing it. I'm saying, but this is a story about them. Yeah. Will they breathe in the next year? Yeah.
I'm just even thinking, even practically, like as a woman now, like I can go get a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can go get a job.
Yeah.
Might not be my favorite, might not love it, might not pay the greatest.
Yep.
They might treat me like I'm a dumb woman, but it doesn't matter. I can get a job.
Right.
They wouldn't even have the option to just go get a job for themselves. It would be like, I need to be a slave. I need to sell myself as a servant, or I need to sell myself as a prostitute just to try to make money, or go find, I don't know, another group of alone women and we can all try to help each other out or something.
Right. And it doesn't mean that women were powerless or are powerless. It's that there were very few options depending on the setup. So if your husband was rich and he died, then even if you didn't own all the money, you still had access.
That's a good point.
You were still taken care of by whatever state or however it worked out. But there are very few rich. There was no middle class. There's no us, to be honest. There's either utterly dirt poor, which is everybody. So to say you're poor is just to say you exist.
Okay.
Or the kings and certain merchants and people who got sort of lucky. I mean, as we'll hear about next week, Boaz, who somehow prospered and even through, because he was there for the famine, something happened that he was able to prosper. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. So it changes how the options that they had. And so what I never want to express is that, one, that the Bible endorses the creation or the sustaining of vulnerability. And I know we use vulnerability a lot right now, so hopefully we don't become tone deaf to that. So pick whatever word you want to understand that there's people who don't have the same options. And so for me, we're talking about military. There's people who wouldn't be able to go in the military. It wouldn't be an option for them. Let's say physical stuff or whatever. So what if they're trying to figure out how they're going to pay for school or something like that? It's a totally different question. And so for anyone to just go, oh, well, everybody can solve their own problems. That's just
not true.
dumb. Most of us can. and it can, and the result, and so we go hard work. And so this is where we go Proverbs. The likelihood that you will at least make it, especially in our society, if you work, goes up if you work. The odds are higher. Doesn't mean it's not a guarantee.
Right.
But that's about all that we can truly say about it. So.
Your mention of Proverbs makes me go back to something you said earlier, and I was wondering, is it hold on, is it Samuel who wrote Proverbs? I mean Samuel. Is it Solomon who wrote Proverbs? Do we know that?
We don't.
Okay.
There's at least 2 authors, probably, to me, more.
Okay.
In my opinion, it's probably a compilation
Okay.
of things that were either written down or talked about regularly or things like that. So,
Who wrote Ecclesiastes? Do we know that?
no, it's attributed to Solomon.
Okay.
The name that's used in there, I'm going to mispronounce this. It's something like Keholet,
Okay.
and it's translated as teacher. But it's a very specific name that there's another word for teacher that I also don't know, but
Okay.
they just translate it as the teacher.
Okay. Because I was thinking about you saying, in Proverbs, they're like all these principles. If you do this, this, and then you get to Ecclesiastes, and Ecclesiastes author is like, actually, no. So I was wondering, like, do we consider that it was the same author? And now he's basically like, yeah, forget everything I said in Proverbs, or who we think that is. But
I think it would be weird to think that no Proverbs came from Solomon. I would, but I'd have to do more look back into it to see exactly if which ones might be attributed to him. But most people are going to argue about everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you're fine if you go. I think Solomon wrote
got it.
Ecclesiastes, and plus there's a reference to him whoever the writer is writes like he's a king. Like I was a king, I tried out being a king, sort of thing. And so you're going, this all kind of fits the Solomon, and a similar feel to in a different way, but for Song of Solomon, which there's some good cases for it not being written by Solomon, but there's also some lean to it. So
It's one of those times where you say, you taught me this phrase, and now I'm losing it. It's like, we just don't have enough information. Yeah. So we don't need to die on the sword of this thing. It's just not enough information. So
if it's helpful, it's helpful.
Yes.
You can go, Paul wrote the 1 Corinthians, for example. And if you go, okay, Paul wrote 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, Paul wrote Galatians, we're going to think Galatians is probably going to have a feel for how Paul thinks. But we don't really have those in the Old Testament. And so we get very caught up sometimes. Moses wrote all the first 5 books of the Bible. Well, Deuteronomy is expressing things that were actually after Moses died. So this is kind of a struggle. So Moses was, and it says Moses was the most humble man who ever lived. If he wrote it.
that's funny.
Yeah.
If you have to call yourself humble, I'm going to question your level of humility.
So, and does it take away if you go, I think multiple authors over a longer period compiled it and it was edited and stuff. Does it take anything away? Right. It doesn't have to, but I'm also not going to die on he isn't the author either. If that, I know people that if I were to push that, it would make them very uncomfortable. It kind of undermines their sense of security in the Bible. And I would much rather you be secure in the scripture than you hear my random thoughts about and questions, because they're not locked down thoughts. They're simply go, I read this once. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So did you tell us, I can't remember, did you tell us who wrote Ruth? Do we know?
I don't think we know.
We don't know. Okay. I loved how you reminded us that it happened in the time of Judges, and like an audible collective sigh of when you remind us how Judges ends with everyone did what seemed right in their own eyes. Immediately I wrote a note, my truth, like that, because you were like, this might sound oddly familiar to you. And I'm like, I've already written my truth. Like, everyone did what seemed right in their own eyes. And this is the time that Ruth is living.
Yeah.
And just even thinking culturally of of where she's at in that season of life. And everyone did what seemed what was right in their own eyes. So she easily could have left Naomi and it would have been fine. She easily could have, whatever, regardless.
I think it's a case to make that it would be the right decision.
The right thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have a chance if you stay with her, and she's older, or I don't know. I mean, that's the other thing too. We try to picture, I don't know. We forget how young people got married, and like, so I don't even know how old is Naomi at this point. Do we know how old is Ruth at this point?
We don't know. If you go, we're going to make up numbers, but they're not going to seem. Once I do it, it won't be crazy. So if they're in Israel, they're in Bethlehem, and they decide, Elimelech, the husband, decides we're going to move to Moab, and he takes 2 boys with him. And you get the feel that he's taking his kids with him. So they get there. Let's give them some age and call them 15. And the reason is that men were usually older when they got married than the women they were married to.
Oh, okay.
So you would not typically give your daughter to somebody who wouldn't be able to help them or sustain them.
Okay, that's true.
Okay?
Yep.
So I'm going to go, I think when the son's married, I'm going to go they're 25.
Okay.
Or around that age.
Sure.
I'm just going to guess that. And so let's call the daughters then 15. It really could go anywhere from 13 to 19. After 19, it got a little weird if no one picked you by that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just so different than our culture.
There's so many things we could talk about.
You almost feel like
now.
you're saying, I endorse this, and I don't. No. Different culture.
Yep.
And reasons for it.
Correct.
That you're also not going to be fans of. So no way we can be exact, but I'm going to let's call them 15 and 25, and whatever you want to do with those numbers, but around that. So 10 years later, the sons die. So Naomi then is somebody who was probably, again, let's assume the same thing. She was married at 15 or whatever, lives long enough to have 15-year-old. So now she's 30, goes to Moab 10 years later, whatever time, and then 10 years more. So let's call her
50.
45, 50, somewhere in there. So for us, that's younger than me. And, I genuinely don't know how old you are. So, and apparently not.
I am way younger than that.
Yeah, I believe it.
Considering I have 5 grandchildren.
And I'm not technically 55 till later this month. So anyway, this is a long explanation of how I got to this. But I think when we put them in there, so we go, Naomi's 45, is probably 45 to 50. Ruth is probably 20 to 28, somewhere in the 20 to 30 range. But because you also, if she's going to get married again, has to be young enough within that culture to be worth marrying. So no one's adding on extra costs without the benefit of the potential children, potential children.
Then I find myself wondering, like, dang, both of her kids died 10 years after they got there,
10 years after they were married.
10 years after they were married.
Yeah.
So, just bad luck. They die, I don't know.
Right.
Did they get into a fight? I don't know, but she lost them both.
Yeah.
And her husband.
It's something that we also don't have a way of really understanding is the degree to which death was stinking everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
That this is much later, but Roman death rate that I read in Roman times, so the time of Jesus, was around 50% by the age of 5.
Whoa.
Yeah, most kids died. At least half kids. And so, and incredibly dangerous to give birth. Imagine no awareness of germs.
Yeah.
And everything is filthy.
Yeah.
And giving birth. So if you hemorrhage, you're done. And everyone knows stories.
I've thought of that so many times. All 4 of my kids were born C-section and 3 of them had emergencies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have survived. I wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
Dead. Gone. Yep. Both of us would have died, you know?
Yeah. Eyesight. We can't see.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah,
Could you imagine what our lives would be like right now if we didn't have glasses?
absolutely. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. I keep talking about fascinating things to me that stood out on Sunday.
Awesome.
One that stood out to Rem, my 16-year-old, he was talking about how you mentioned that the story begins with the family being from Bethlehem, and that Bethlehem means house of bread.
Yeah.
And I don't think you said it on Sunday. I think this was Rem on his own. And he's like, and Jesus is referred to as the bread of life, and he came from Bethlehem. And I'm like, yes, yes, you're getting it. You're seeing like, yes, the connections there.
Yep.
All the way back here. And then how you said Ruth ends up being, is she like great something? I don't know.
Yeah.
She's something.
Yeah, exactly.
Great grandmother, great grandmother
Great.
to King David, who's the bloodline of Jesus. It's like, it's just so, it's so cool when you take the time to slow down and try to study. And really it's more than slowing down, because there's so much detail in there that you can't keep track from one book or one chapter to another of like, wait a minute, we know that name.
Yeah.
You know, you can sometimes, but there's just a lot there.
Yeah.
But when you can get an opportunity to put it together.
And that's, again, why back to Ruth is so great, is this is manageable. We're not trying to deal with all of David's life and the different political things and everything that you can add in.
Yeah.
We're just talking about two ladies in a foreign land that they had to be there, and one grew up there. How are they going to live?
Yeah.
And so you're able to just simplify the questions. And then if you want to throw in more stuff to make it, so I throw in more stuff because I want you to feel what I'm trying, why this is important, because that was the hard thing. I felt like when we're talking about a book like Ruth, it's almost like trying to explain Lord of the Rings to somebody who's never read it or doesn't know anything about it, never watched the movies. I'm like, no, really, Harry Potter is the, and you're like, yeah, I don't care. And, or someone explaining sports if you don't like sports or whatever.
Yeah.
And so trying to give a reason why this matters, why it matters today, why this book is really cool. Because it's cool without the details. It's even better with the details.
Yeah.
And the more you get, it just becomes more and more awesome. So
Help me wrap my head around Moabites. There's the whole list of all the ites that God had said, do not intermarry with them. Do not engage with them.
Yeah.
Some or most were all supposed to be fully destroyed when they took the promised land.
it took different areas for that one. Yeah.
Right. So I'm confused as to if God said don't intermarry with them, the Moabites, and yet they did, but in this instance, it worked out for the good.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I don't know how to reconcile that.
Yeah. We're going to go the simple way. There's some other really interesting to me options about how to interpret that.
Okay.
But let's begin with, I'm going to overstate just for whatever.
Yeah.
Why does God hate the Moabites?
Okay.
And he doesn't, in the sense that we think about God hating things or something. He's very, very, very unhappy with some things that the Moabites did. So the Hebrew people are coming out of Egypt. They're at the end of their 40 years, and they're coming up through, I have a map in my head, and I don't have a way of expressing a map that's in my head. So if you could think of a block of wood, maybe up and down, I'm going to steal your iPad.
Yep.
If we have this, and I'm facing the camera here, and imagine that this whole thing is Israel, the land of Israel. So over here then is the Mediterranean Sea. And so water, you're not walking in there unless you're Jesus. Down here is the Dead Sea, and up here is the Sea of Galilee. A lot of the stories of Jesus happen up here. But Israel, the Hebrew people, are coming from way down low, from Egypt, way over here, and they come up around this way. And so they cross the Jordan River somewhere in here, but down here, so if that's the Dead Sea, the Moabites are over here. So when they're coming over here, the Moabites, according to the story, hear that Israel is a lot of people and that God is a big deal. And so the Moabites are super nervous.
Yep.
And
right.
so they try to figure out, how can we basically protect ourselves because these people are going to wipe us out. Israel wasn't planning on wiping them out. They were just trying to go where God was taking them. And so they asked, hey, can we go through your land?
And Moabites have every right. I mean, like, that's only fair for them to think, you're a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're going to take us out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like they're thinking something completely irrational.
No, absolutely. How should they have acted? Who knows? But Moab says, no, you can't. The king of Moab says, absolutely no, you can't. But then in addition, they start doing things to mess with the Israelites. And when I say, you said they tried to kill them, that's essentially it. They feel like they don't have the power to defeat Israel if they were to go to war with them. So they hire a guy named Balaam to come and curse them. And
that's this story?
That's this story. That's
the Moabites.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so all that story. Sorry. Anyway, so all that story, which is a whole other thing, that culminates into the Hebrew people finally get around and they're getting ready to cross into the Jordan. And if you imagine a tall kind of, let's call it a cliff. It's not entirely that, but Balaam is up here and God tells Balaam, don't curse them. So God, every time Balaam tries to curse them, he actually blesses them. And he's frustrated, Balaam is. And so he basically just wants to get paid. But God trumps him and just stomps on him. And it's kind of interesting. But Balaam actually leaves, but gives Moab an idea to send prostitutes to the Israelite camp. And so they send they basically create a temptation for Israelites, and some of those men then interact with those prostitutes. So while Israel is being unfaithful, this is a great conclusion, or great, even in their unfaithfulness that leads to many deaths, God at the same time is protecting them by directing Balaam to not be able to curse them. And so it's a really interesting God's protection, God's continuous oversight. Even in the midst of sin, he's still faithful, even if they're not. So that's from that guy. And when I say Moses wasn't alive for that, he wasn't. But this is why the Moabites, the Ammonites are a different story that began 40 years before. But the Ammonites attacked the weakest part of Israel. And so God's, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So, but the Moabites refused to be even minorly hospitable and went out of their way to try and wipe out Israel without enough. And so God was like, nope, you're not allowed in this.
So do you know, can we know when reading scripture how much time has passed that now it's better for these guys to come up from Bethlehem to Moab during this famine?
In my opinion, no. Okay. I don't think the timeline through Judges is linear. I don't think it's direct. I think things overlap.
Yep.
That doesn't mean someone else will think different. Cool. I'm not going to argue about that. It's not that important. But I don't think we know. I think it seems like a few hundred years. But
we don't know.
Yeah. Some of these stories were to some degree cultural identity. Some of them were lost. The Book of Judges starts out. Second chapter says there arose a generation that neither knew God nor the miracles he had done in Egypt, which leads to the loss of awareness of what God's instructions were and teaching. So I don't know the time frame. We do know that the next book after Ruth is 1 Samuel. And so the final judge is Samuel. And so it's pretty close. So you have to have Samuel completely grow up before David shows up. And then you have Saul's reign, and then David shows up. So it's pretty close here that it's happening. So my guess is Ruth is happening right as Samuel's probably born.
I see. Yeah, very cool. So we can talk about all historical, which I love, and really setting it up so we can understand, we can envision what's happening.
Yeah.
But the real big takeaway for us is to continue as we move forward these next few weeks so that we can see God writing his story through Ruth, and eventually, through the whole Bible, and it gets to us. But you talked about, I'm going to say it wrong, Hesed.
No, Hesed,
without the phlegm.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hesed is, and you said it's the Hebrew word, but English doesn't really have a word for it. And I can't, though, remember, is Hesed, is that word in one of the verses we're reading in Ruth, or how? I can't remember how we got there.
It's a few times directly in there. In chapter 1, it's actually used when Naomi says to her daughters-in-law to go back. She says, may the Lord be kind to you, or may the Lord,
you.
Essentially. And so we have that sort of blessing that Naomi is just trying to tell them, I'm going home, you should go home. And then within a few verses, we have Ruth not use the word, but do it.
I see. Live it, actually.
It actually lives it out in that, and she uses words to express, for me, which is a covenant that she said, if you're saying my fate is completely tied to your fate for the rest of the time.
Yep.
That's covenant. Yep. That just is. It's covenant. We'll just leave that. Right. I can make it overcome.
My God is your God. Where you go, I'm going.
Yep.
I'm in this. Come hell or high water, like Jay just preached a couple weeks ago, whatever. I'm in this. I'm not leaving you. That's covenant.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, which is what covenant is with God, no matter what, I'm in.
Kindness would be, okay, I'm going to go home, but let me make sure you're supplied with enough to make your journey and things like that, if possible.
Yeah.
That's kindness. That's what is great if we do. She went, no, I'm going to make sure with every single step that you are, if you die, I die. If you live, I live. And that's a different thing. I can't instruct you. I can't tell you that's how you should live.
Yeah.
I don't know who you should live that to, but it is what God has said to us.
Right.
Which is week 4. So I'm going to hold off. But I mean, that's the, I like getting the story before I try to interpret it. I like forcing myself to just, quit interpreting it, just make sure you have the story. But this is one of the messages is God's Hesed, and we see it work. Next week, we'll see it in Boaz, is he has no reason to be really kind to Ruth, and yet he is. Why?
Yep.
Is it because she's hot? No, it seems like this is who this person is. When Ruth is doing this, there's some reason she sticks with Naomi. And even if it was she knew Naomi needed help, okay, but she didn't need to commit that hard, but she does. And so one vulnerability becomes 2 vulnerability, but it's not, it kind of makes it a little less. Now we have 2 mouths to feed, but at least we have the strength to do it.
Yeah. I loved even the words that, because English doesn't have a word to define it, the handful of words that we've tried to use to translate it, but loving kindness, faithful love. I'm like, okay, mercy.
Yeah.
But my hot word this year, anybody who's been listening knows I'm stuck all over steadfast love and what God's steadfast love, and kind of like what you were talking the story about Israel and Moab It's like, while the Israelites are engaging in sin, yet God's steadfast love is protecting them by blessing them. It's like that. I don't know which one of you said it, that I understand it now. It's like that, removing his hand of protection to a point, to an extent. He's allowing them to engage in the things that they think that's best for them and that they want, while yet still covering them to a point. That's his steadfast love that he just keeps doing.
Yeah, and we get this but at a simpler level. So think of, you're raising your kids, but they're young, and they hit that point where, remember teaching them to tie their shoes, and there's some point they start going, I got it. I can do it. I'm going to do it. And you're like, good Lord, I just need to leave. And they need 20 minutes because they're figuring out rabbit ears.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not that they can't conceive it. They believe they can do it because they get it, but their hands aren't able to do it. It's not that you don't believe, it's that you actually, for them to get through that, you actually do need to let them do it. And that's a really positive version of it.
Yeah.
But man, there's some times that we're that dumb that God goes, it's not, I'm angry with you, but the only way that you're going to get this if I back off. You have to see the consequence of what you're doing. And I'm telling you, I've told you what what works.
Yep.
I made you. I know how you function.
Yep.
If you're going to ignore it,
yep,
at some point, I'm still God, but you've decided to have something else as your God. So have them solve your problem for you.
And I still love you.
Oh, yeah.
Because while I'm letting you figure that out, I'm still faithfully there. And most of the time, protecting you from the extent of yourself. And so that when you do finally hit rock bottom and figure out, oh yeah, maybe I don't know what the heck I'm doing, and you turn to me, I'm still there. Yeah. Time and time and time again. Yeah.
And that's people are, I don't think God is faithful or something. Your story's too small, man. You don't know the scripture nor what it says. And I don't say that as someone who does. I feel like Jesus said that you don't know the scripture, or I'm not claiming to be at that level. I'm saying, but man, there's a bigger story than what you're experiencing.
Well, that is actually what I wrote down. You had asked us several questions on Sunday, and you said, what if your faith isn't about you? What if it isn't about trying to make everyone act in a way you think is the only way to act? Which I love so much. What if the faith God is calling you into puts others first? And just really challenging, like, Ruth's degree of faith in this God that is not the God she was raised to follow. Yeah. She chose to follow her husband, the God of her husband and his family, Yahweh. Yeah. She chose to follow. And I think you said one of them even uses God's name of Jehovah. Is that
at the end when she says, your God will be my God, and she's using Elohim in both of those, which is fine. There's no statement there. It's simply saying it's just the word God. Or gods, but it's God. And then she says, may the Lord, which in most of your versions is going to have capital L-O-D, L-O-R-D, is Yahweh there, or translated as Adonai for others. So
okay, so then
Greek or Hebrew. For Lord.
So she's chosen the God of her husband's family and following him, and then follows them to Moab to escape. No. She's in Moab. Sorry. They've escaped famine. They're in Moab. But she doesn't turn against this God. She doesn't get mad at this God that her husband dies. She, no one's saying that there's no, that she's not wrestling out some real feelings. Oh, yeah, absolutely. but she doesn't turn against him. She says, no, your God is still my God, even though my husband is gone. Even though now we're left with facing, do I go back home as a widow or do I go with you as a widow? What does this look like?
And Naomi never denies God either. She just simply says, no, my life I left full. I'm coming home empty. God has decided this is what he's doing. She's sad. She's broken.
Call me Mara.
She blames God, but in a way that doesn't deny God. Yeah. God's in control, and this is what he's done.
Yeah, which is a whole deep
It's a whole different thing.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so good. So just even thinking about the decisions that Ruth made that she doesn't even understand in the moment are bigger than she comprehends. They're bigger than she can't comprehend her future.
Yeah, absolutely.
The impact of her choices today, she cannot comprehend in the long term.
Right. So she responds to the need that's definitely in front of her, refuses to leave somebody she loves, and refuses to abandon that in any way.
So then looking at those questions, what if your faith isn't about you? What if it isn't about trying to make everyone act in a way you think is the only way to act? What if the faith God is calling you into puts others first? I just asked here is, how have you engaged one or any of these questions in your own life? How could you answer?
Restate for me. Yeah.
What if your faith isn't about you?
Mm.
What if it's not about trying to make everyone act in a way that you think is the only way to act?
Mm-hmm.
What if the faith God is calling you into puts others first?
I was raised, the family that raised me, I was a foster kid, I've said that a number of times, but my mom, it wasn't enjoyable, but she had a tough task to take whatever I was as a kid, who in certain situations you become, especially as a kid, you become self-protective. You become selfish and isolated as a survival mechanism. Mm-hmm. And so I get to her house and I'm still that, in addition to a little feral. And she's got to somehow solve that. And so I don't think she had it planned out, but it was, no, you will think of other things than yourself. Mm-hmm. And so even today, I'm incredibly internal. Everything's happening up here. And so that's never been, it's always been that way. And so for her to be, we don't stand in the middle of a Walmart aisle so that people can't get by. You're aware of where you're at. Mm-hmm. So now the negative version would be add on army stuff where, it gets you're a little over vigilant, but I'm not that bad on that either. But becoming the hard work that she put in of this isn't about you. Everything's not about you. Mm-hmm. Even in response to tough things where she could have coddled me or something like that. Mm-hmm. And there's parts of it she probably should have, but as a fundamental thing, it's not about you. So this is one that out of the gate, I remember we were at college, so got saved in the military, went to college after that. And I remember driving home. You have those times where you just remember where you were. And I was pulling into our apartment complex and was praying at that time and had the realization, God, if the only reason I'm here, if the only reason that I'm here is so that these boys are born and that they learn to follow you, then that make my significance what you want it to be. And I can't say I've always lived that, but that fundamental idea that this isn't about me. And that idea has genuinely served me because it is a bunch of reasons, but it's been one of the things that's actually helped me survive through some challenging times within church. So, because the church I don't know, it's a bunch, but it's not about me. It's about something bigger. And so you manage it. And then your second question, we're out of time, but.
What if it isn't about trying to make everyone act in a way you think is the only way to act?
Oh my gosh, that's relatively, I think in that phrasing, I think I would always agree with it. The real impact of that has happened since within the last probably 15 years of having some really aggressive conversations, particularly with one of my sons, which allowed me to begin to think outside, even more so outside of my world. I thought my world was pretty open and that I was trying to bring in as much information as I could. Yeah. And we were having a full-on argument. It was Christmas and it made a wonderful Christmas day. I think my wife's still upset about it. And she should be. It was terrible. Full on. And we're not like blow up, yell up. And we were just going at it. And I said something like, I just don't understand it. And he just went, you don't have to understand everything. And I'm just like, I didn't know I had nothing. Because it was the first time I'd ever, it's a weird thing to not think about, but it was transformational for me when I went, it's not, I don't know. Again, it's a bunch. I don't have it all worked out, but it opened up my ability to go, especially if we're talking about caring for people that are outside of the church or outside of the faith, is the way we kind of phrase it. And let's go with others or something like that. Why would anyone listen to me if I don't care about them? Yeah. And we could say, I care about them. That's why I'm presenting the gospel. If that's your sentence, then I'm going to argue you don't. I don't want you telling me things. Why would I expect anyone to Hear me if that's my point of view. I'm right, you're wrong. Let me help you. It may actually be help, but if you're going to make me have to submit to you before you're willing to, this isn't a relationship that is one. This isn't even close to this type of relationship.
Yeah.
So, and this relationship isn't the standard. But it is an example. It is an example of what God has done for us.
I just really love, I know we're out of time, but that Ruth story, and you just said, like, we have no idea what our story holds.
Yep.
And Ruth was transformational of an entire family and nations without even knowing it.
Yeah.
And my thought when you were saying that was, it literally, again, it comes down to choice, to decision. She made a choice. She doesn't have any idea the extreme measure that the weight of her decision in that moment.
Yeah.
But she just makes the decision to show loyal kindness when she didn't have to.
Yep.
And let God handle the rest of it.
Absolutely. It wasn't a decision to, your generation's going to change the world or anything like that. I'm not trying to down that. It wasn't about any of that. It wasn't about, it doesn't seem to have been about vision and all this other stuff of this is what's going to happen. There was simply what's going to happen. Oh, wherever you go, I'm going. Wherever you walk, I'm going to walk. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I'll die. I'm making a commitment. We will be forever connected.
She's literally living the mundane of life, the mundane day-to-day of life. There's nothing profound. There's nothing that, like you said, your generation's going to change. If we spent more time paying attention to the mundane every day rather than the I'm going to go out and change the world or whatever, we'd actually accomplish a lot more. You know, that is discipleship 101. It's like, rather than standing from a big old stage and like throwing out a whole bunch of words and like whatever, not that that's bad. That's not bad. But right here, the one-on-one decisions we make, the apologies we make every once in a while when we are like, crap, I need to apologize for that. Those are the loyal, kind ways that we just continue to show God's still working in me. And I'm gonna humbly acknowledge it so that it makes an example for you, so that it makes an example of God in the midst of us. I'm just excited for us to continue. It's hard to just bite off one chapter today. And then like, let's take the next 4 weeks. Do you preach any more of the weeks?
The final one.
The fourth one. Okay.
So.
All right. So we've got a lot to get to before that. But let's just like keep working through this. Go back, go read the story of Ruth. If you can, read it every week while we're in this series. It's 4 chapters, so it's not super long. Some of us are slower readers, and that's okay. Have it read to you on your Bible app when you're driving. Like, just get yourself comfortable with the story. So read different translations so you hear different words that will make a sense to you, so that as the guys are studying it over the next few weeks and they're bringing attention, what God wants us to see. That's what I want us to know on the podcast. Our pastors have been given this job from the Lord, and they're not just going in there and trying to use their brain and intellect to study scripture. They're actually saying, God, we feel like you're telling us to go into the Book of Ruth for our people. And to do that, we need you to show us what you want us to teach our people. And you first have to teach it to us. You guys talk about it all the time. You got a wrestling match that you do all week long when you're prepping for this. And so take that seriously. God is speaking a word through them to us from the Book of Ruth over this next month. So God, what do you want to teach me? What do you want me to see in this season of my life out of the story of Ruth? So thank you very much for being here today. And I don't know if there was so much in that message I wanted to get to, but hopefully we got to something that was interesting for you. I love it too. So anyways, we'll see you next week. We'll talk about Ruth chapter 2. Take a deep breath, will you? We're heading into the holidays and people start to get crazy and like lose their minds. We need to slow down, take a deep breath, enjoy the moments is my tagline, my entire adult life. And we will chat again next time.
Oh, I forgot to ever share the title.
What?
Even through it. The title,
I noticed you didn't say it. I
totally forgot. And it's a great
mind.
title, and this is how we'll sign off.
Okay.
The title was Ride or Die.
Ride or Die.
Ruth said, you're my ride or die.
I have a t-shirt from my best friend that says, I'm ride or die until 9 p.m.
Anyway.
And when she first gave it to me, I was like, dude, I can stay up till at least like 11. Nope, 9's good.
Absolutely.
All right.
Such a great title.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
Bye. Thanks again for joining us today. We would love for you to tell others about the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to it too, because this will help others find out about it. If you missed it before, we love to hear from you. So if you have any stories to tell about how the message impacted you, or maybe you have a question or comment, make sure you email us at podcast@goodnews.church. Y'all, this is my favorite day of the week. So go give away what you just learned, and we'll chat again next time.